I got a lot of messages from players who want to get fitter, and I don't just mean that they want to be fitter as in they can run a fast 5k or they can lift more weights in the gym. I mean they want to go from I feel fit to I'm an absolute beast and I'm on a different level, I'm dominating the game, I look like an absolute beast. And you know what I mean, it's the player who, seen in the changing room, the ones who players are turning their head to look at them, their abs are like a cheese grater, they've got that athletic V-taper, and then when they go on the pitch, they're first to have the ball, they're still bombing up and down in the 90th minute, they're winning every header, they seem to be bossing the opposition every single time in a physical challenge, and they're doing it week in, week out, and they never seem to be injured. Now to get to this level, there's 4 key factors, and I call this being built like a baller, and we'll be covering all of these factors over the next 2 weeks. I'm Gary, or Gaz, or that football fitness guy, you'll see me online. I've been coaching since 2004, I've worked across 3 continents with football players, I've helped thousands of players worldwide, and of course I've played football my whole life as well. To be honest, I'm fed up and sick of hearing the crap advice that players have been getting over the years when it comes to trying to look, feel or perform like a pro athlete or a pro football player. And I say that because I've been there myself, I speak to players every single day, and then I went through it when I played as well. It massively impacted how I felt, not just off the pitch but on the pitch as well. I first started taking the physical side of the game serious, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, different era, but when I started trying to train like an athlete, the most common advice I got was just train harder. Now, I don't mean when I first started, so like 14, 15 years old, because when you first just get started, obviously anything you do sort of works, so you can just train harder and it improves. But I mean, when I started to really take my preparation seriously, I was in the US at the time on a college scholarship. I had to do things properly because all the Americans were super athletic, but most of the advice I got, whether it be online or from other people, was just do more. And to be honest, it was crap advice, because more often than not I ended up just sore and heavy on game day. I was training all the time, I didn't miss my sessions, but I was training more than most people on my team. I knew I was fit, but I just kept feeling sluggish on game day and I was running out of energy. And to be honest, I didn't look anywhere near as good as half the players in the team who seemed to be training way less than me, and I seemed to be doing everything by the book. The thing about training harder is it's not quantifiable, and it can mean completely different things for every single player. Every player's got different things they need to work on. They're at different points in their training journey. They've got different baselines and starting point, and then they've also got different schedules, so days of the week they can train, how often they can train, and how long they've got to train, and when their match schedule is. I spent a shit ton of my own time trying to work out how to make things a bit more logical, a bit more football specific, and more individualised. And on top of that, I've spent the last 15 years studying this and been mentored by probably some of the best coaches in elite sport and high performance. And it's absolutely crystal clear that no matter if it's sport, business or just day-to-day life, there is only these 4 key areas that you need to be concerned about when it comes to becoming a high performer. And that is how you treat your brain, it's what you eat, it's how you sleep and recover, and of course it's your training. And I call this your best performance, so BEST, brain, eat, sleep and train. Within each of these 4 categories, there's going to be subcategories as well, and I used to make good progress like everyone else, just by focusing on the training part. Now, it wasn't optimal, but it was good enough to make me some decent progress. But when I started to really simplify things, get the key principles of the other areas and factor it all together, my match fitness skyrocketed. I felt so much better, and then off the pitch as well, my whole life pretty much skyrocketed, to be honest. And with that being said, you can get very advanced and complicated, and it just depends on obviously your current level, your current habits, how fast you want to improve, and obviously what level you want to get to. So you can dial up any of these areas, or you can dial them down. What we're going to do over the next 14 days is just touch on the final details, especially the training component, and we're going to touch on the other 3 areas as well. I want to make sure you have the most effective and simple way of nailing your performance. Now, this isn't necessarily what people think they are, and that's why you'll see so many football players, regardless of how many things they've read online or how many things they've purchased or how many people they've worked with, still spending time on Google or on social media looking for drills or answers to improving their match fitness and their physique. Now, if you do what we go over the next 2 weeks and you do it properly, I promise you, you'll be part of the top 1% of players that play semi-pro, amateur or at the academy level. I've worked with so many of them at these levels, and they don't know this stuff. So if you can nail this now, you're going to be well ahead of your teammates, your opponents, and then you can build from there. So just a bit of quick admin before we get stuck in. So every day at 10 o'clock Sydney time, there'll be a video and there'll be a short task. It's that simple. You just need to do that task. Obviously watch your video first, and then you just comment under the video that you've done the task, and then if there's a little comment or something regarding the task, I'm talking 1 or 2 sentences or 1 or 2 words, just make sure you add that in as well. The videos and tasks combined won't take longer than 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to give you until day 7 to get caught up with week 1, because in week 2 we're going to get into the fine details that are a bit more specific to each person who's involved, and I'm going to help you go through each step of them. But I can't do that if you're not caught up. So if you're not caught up by day 7, I'm just going to take you out the group. It's the only way I can really make it fair to give the people who are participating a fair crack at it and make sure I can put my attention to them. So today's task is pretty simple. I want you to get your baseline score in those 4 key areas, and what you'll see attached is a best performance scorecard. This will only take you 5 minutes to go through. Don't overthink it. Your score's going to change. It might get better or worse over the 14 days, because I'm going to give you a ton of detail in terms of the final side of how this should look. So do the task, complete the scorecard, and then inside the group, all you need to do is comment done and then write your score. Alright, you can put more detail if you want, that's even more helpful, but as an absolute minimum, write done and write your score. See you in the group, and I'll chat to you later on today.